What is up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Video Game Bang, Sacramento's #1 geek and gaming podcast, as voted on by the people at Podcast Quarterly and YouListen.com.
Good people over there.
Oh, they're my favorite.
Good people.
They're my go-to podcast zine.
Yep.
We're sponsored by Anarchy, Esports, Oblivion Comics and Coffee. Come for the comics, stay for the coffee and beer. Also a sponsor of Curtis's Comic Corner.
Hey!
I kept the alliteration this time, Emma. And Mainframe USA and Bass GG. We have a very hot topic tonight to talk about tonight. But first, let's talk about the hosts. To my left, which is really weird, Corey.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm not running the ones and twos.
It's weird. You not only being on this side of the monitors, but also me not being in that chair, me being in this chair.
It really feels like I'm more of a guest on the show. And it feels kind of good. I like it.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
I did want to say, everybody concerned with the Curtis's Comic Book Corner sounding theme song that I debuted last week sounded a little too much like the Emma one.
You know, I wasn't going to just call it lazy.
Well, I didn't even know, like, it's one of those things that happens subtly, and then a listener pointed it out, and they said that it was pretty much the exact same thing, so that one is under construction. I'm going to keep working at this, but eventually, Curtis, I will get you a theme song that is worthy of that segment.
Hey, the intro of it, I'll take. It was perfect.
You heard his voice, Curtis.
What up?
Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, trying to get these ones and twos down. I ain't DJ'd in a minute, but I'm hopping back on it.
We Curtis and Corey, we're starting a 2K team.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be be basically the AA for the Kingsguard.
That's
they don't
right.
know it yet.
They have no clue.
They don't know yet, but we'll be their relief.
That's
we'll
right.
just show up at a 2K league. And like, hey guys, we got this. Sit this one out. It's just the Bucks. We got this.
It's just the Bucks. We got it. I love it. I'm with it. I can't wait. I'm so excited, and obviously anybody who's been a long time listener or viewer on Twitch knows about my buddy Malik, who comes on sometimes.
Yeah.
He is he's a kid in a candy store, and he's not even in the candy store yet. It's crazy.
See, that's what makes me nervous, that I'm barely a C player.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh man, these people actually know what they're doing, and they're really excited, and I'm going to disappoint them.
Oh no, not at all.
I feel like the old guy who hasn't played basketball in a bunch of years, but he's coming back, because I used to be obsessed with those basketball games.
Yeah.
I was all into the My Career 2K stuff before you could put your face in there and stuff.
Right.
Back in my day, we had to make our own faces.
All this newfangled using the analog stick to shoot,
Right.
I was playing on GameCube. I had to use my foot to, do certain things. It was tough. But now we're back, and I'm excited. I'm power forward now.
Power
too.
forward.
Yeah.
Bro, let's
See
go.
Webb.
That's
See
what
Webb.
Yes.
That's where I'm going.
Corey's the C Webb of our new team.
Yeah.
Looks just like him too. That's the crazy part. And fresh off of her most recent existential crisis, she's back ready to bend our minds with last Thursdayism and other interesting facts. Nexy
Hello.
is here.
Yeah.
She
I'm
was here,
Hello.
and she's also here.
I am back.
You're
I'm
back.
here.
I was going to say, and now you're back from outer space. But she didn't. She went the opposite. Didn't you go to the Midwest for a few
Yeah,
weeks?
I went to the
And now
Midwest
she's
for a
back
week.
from
We went on a
Idaho.
road trip in Iowa.
Oh, I was close.
No,
Iowa.
They are far away.
Idaho. It's Idaho.
But we drove to Iowa, 26-hour road trip.
Who drives
Yay.
to Iowa?
That seems super
was
fun.
Was it for family?
Yeah, it was my
Okay.
brother's wedding.
What else would it be?
Okay.
Oh,
I don't
skateboard.
know. You wanted to go see a farm or something? I don't know.
Someone
Yeah.
said you couldn't do it in under 27, and I said, hold my milk. I'm going to go do this. Because she's under 21.
Right? True.
It's chocolate milk, excuse you.
Was this your first time out in that area?
It was my first time out of California.
Whoa! So you got to go outside of the
orchestrated.
bubble.
Yeah.
What was it like to leave the bubble?
I didn't like it.
You're gonna get
Okay.
you're gonna get that feeling.
Send me back.
Dude,
Send me back.
No, it was so crazy because the one thing that was noticeably different, well, two things. One, there's grass. And it's green.
They didn't have a drought.
And two, the weirdest thing going through all the different states and traveling through the Midwest was seeing billboards that were talking about Jesus is gonna save you. And I'm like,
yeah.
wait, what?
The Bible Belt.
Bible Belt is strong.
It's so California's a liberal place.
Yeah.
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 I'm
It's almost
very
as
lucky.
liberal as the internet.
Almost.
Almost. Did you go did you go to a restaurant and see how they smoke in the restaurants?
I didn't see anybody like actually smoking in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, but I think my mom was telling me about how that's a thing.
It's a thing,
Like, there's
yeah.
no smoking.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is so weird.
It was one of the things that blew my one of the first things that blew my mind when I went out of state for the first time. I was like,
Dude,
wait, what?
you know what else is really crazy? Semi trucks don't have like they must go this many miles per hour. Like here, a semi truck can only go so fast.
Well, they're supposed
but
to. But
they don't
they
have
don't
like
that in California outside.
yeah, they don't have any like regulations on how fast a semi can
So
go. And
funny
you
to
can
see the
get,
things
like,
that are blowing your mind, leaving the
passed
bubble
by
for the
a
first
semi,
time.
and I'm like, what?
All right, here's this. When you went and got gas, did they come and do it for you?
No.
There's
Really?
some states where
No.
you have to do that,
Yeah.
mostly like on the East Coast.
Gas prices. We were calculating like, okay, this trip we're gonna budget like $900 some odd dollars for gas.
Uh-huh.
And we only ended up spending like $300 on the way there.
That's
and I'm
a-
just like, what?
It's like a cartoon. Once you leave California, you're in like a whole nother
Yeah.
place where gas is a nickel
God, it
still.
was so weird.
Howdy!
Yeah.
Y'all know where you're going?
Yeah.
Jimmy here will help you.
It's crazy. Yeah, you got a
It's
lot.
so
You got a
crazy.
lot more world to go out there and explore.
I don't think I'm ready.
You need to start a travel blog because it's so funny just to see. Wow. All
Nexy
right.
goes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom!
There we go.
I got you.
Please fund my trips. I'm broke.
GoFundMe.com/Nexy goes there.
Nexy's
Yeah.
mom likes to hang out in chat, and she busts you out here. She says you just slept the whole time.
I did sleep a majority of the time,
Dang.
actually.
I'm horrible at that. I will sleep going from my place to the grocery store. The worst
Not
part is I'm
safe.
usually driving, so that makes it really difficult.
Yeah. I didn't drive a single time. Well, because I can't. So I don't know how to drive.
Oh, that's right. I keep
Yeah.
forgetting that.
I don't have a license or anything. So never taken drive. The last time I drove, I was probably like 14, and it was in my sister's new car with my brother in the front seat. And I just lightly pressed on the brakes, and then my brother ended up slamming his head in the glove compartment.
Yeah,
Holy
you shouldn't
crap.
drive.
Did your mom know that story? Because
Yeah.
she didn't. Okay.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
That is so hey, but real talk, what's funny is I've been driving since the age of 11, and I didn't get my driver's license to 21. I had a full-time job. I had like 3 jobs, and I was driving everywhere, and I had no license till I was 21. It was
Oh,
ridiculous.
God.
I didn't even have a permit. Oh, no, excuse me. I did get my permit, but for whatever reason, I just never went back and got my license.
I got this.
So weird.
Yeah. You never got pulled over?
Actually one time I did get pulled over. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they fine you for not having a license?
No,
How'd that go?
like nothing. I didn't get anything at all. Like nothing. I have the weirdest thing with law enforcement where I run into law enforcement and it could be the shadiest situation and like I'm good.
You're just too nice. Like he's not. He can't be up to no
He's
good.
not a criminal.
He's fine.
Look at that face.
Look at him.
Story of my life.
So tomorrow is I was gonna say a big day, but it's kind of.
Still a big day.
I mean, it's still a big day in
A
the
big
sense that we're gonna be back on Good Day Sacramento.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's go.
See that plot twist. Yeah, we're gonna be back on Good Day Sacramento talking about the Game of Thrones finale tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which it's a big day in the sense that this is a 10-year-ish give or take.
And
long
for much of that
series.
time, it was the biggest, most popular. That's the water cooler TV show.
Oh yeah.
Above all other water cooler TV shows.
Yeah, absolutely. But for most fans, I would venture to say most fans are fairly disappointed with the direction that this season has taken.
That's putting it very nicely.
I'm practicing for Good Day tomorrow.
Yeah, because we can't just go on there and be like,
Because-
it's bullshit.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Let
What
me tell
the
you.
fuck? Coffee cup? Oh my god.
Someone give me a coffee cup.
Yeah.
most fans are not thrilled with the way that this season has been going. So we thought we would talk about different TV shows throughout our lifespan. That we, or even like that, like ended before we were born, but we've just seen them, that we think ended really well versus ones that ended really poorly.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we have a list per se, which is basically going to be one of those shoot off the cuff top type
Round
of
robin,
web
yeah,
talk episodes. So, I'll just start with one of the ones I could think of off the top of my head that I think ended really well. For a variety of reasons. Seinfeld, I think, ended, was one of the best endings that I've seen. Because of it being, I think what really did it for me was the symmetry of it. So the first episode starts with George and Jerry in a diner, and Jerry looks at George and starts talking about how he thinks the top button is too high. And they start talking about the placement of the top button, and that's the opening sequence for Seinfeld. Fast forward, 9 years later, they're in prison, sitting across from each other, and he goes, "See, now that button is just too high to me." And the camera just pans down the hall of the prison, and then fades to black, and it was just really good symmetry.
That's pretty good. I remember my uncles and stuff were really into Seinfeld, and I was not, because I was still kind of young. I could appreciate it,
Right.
And it had always been around. It was so popular.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Our family would just get together, even the uncles and stuff, and they'd watch Seinfeld together.
Yeah.
And then there was like, oh, but it's all coming to an end. How's it going to end type of stuff. And I remember watching that, and they were kind of like, prison? Like,
Yeah.
For them, it was kind of a twist. But when your show is based in nonsense, you can do that, and then it's like, oh, well, that's just true to what the show was, because you never knew what the fuck was going to happen in the show. And so
it's a show about nothing.
Yeah, it could end in prison. But when you think about it, if you really invested in those characters as like real people, you'd be like, oh shit, all my favorite characters are just going to be in prison now. Like,
well, what's funny too is it had a credit scene, and it's Jerry standing up like in prison, standing up on the stage in like the rec room or whatever like that, and doing stand up. It's like, you guys in cell block D, you know what I'm talking about. And the only person laughing is Kramer. And he's in his
We all need a Kramer, man.
We all, well, minus the racism.
Facts. Damn. Yeah.
Corey, what's one that you can think of off the top of your head?
That I think ended well.
Yeah.
I liked the ending for Breaking Bad.
Okay.
I thought they did a pretty good job, like, again, full circle kind of storytelling, where at the beginning of the series, Walter White is the innocent teacher who starts, he gets cancer, and he's afraid he's going to leave his family with nothing, so he starts cooking meth because he's a scientist.
Okay.
And he's like, I can make it better than all these guys. And then he enlists the help of his buddy, or not his buddy, but like one of the students who's like a burnout.
Yeah.
And so he's like the bad guy, and Walter White's trying to learn how to be bad through him. And then throughout the series, like, he obviously becomes Heisenberg, like the most feared, awful drug lord, while the kid he had helping him starts realizing that there's like more to life than just being a drug burnout and stuff. So he starts going the other way. And they did one of those things where the ending's pretty final. Yeah. But you didn't see it, so maybe he's still alive, or, so it's one of those things where they left it open to a little bit of interpretation, but you had a good idea where people were going, and they didn't completely smother the storyline yet. Right. Which I think is good. The worst part, is when they start extending things way past when they
should be done, yeah.
Yeah.
Nexy.
So here's the thing. I'm going to preface this. I rarely finish TV shows. I almost never, like, I'll make it all the way through a series, and then, like, I'll be binge watching for days. And I even did this with, like, The Office, Parks and Rec. I've never seen the final episodes of either of those shows.
Parks and Rec, I haven't, yeah.
Because I have this weird thing where I'll connect so much, and it's probably due to the lack of my own life. But
don't unpack it. Don't unpack it. We don't have time.
Save it for the next essential crisis.
Yes. All right. Well, I get so invested in the story and so invested in the characters that I don't want there to be an ending. Yeah. Like, it hurts me. It pains me to see an ending. And so if I don't watch the end of a show, it gives me the illusion that the story keeps going.
What?
I know,
You know
it's
what,
so
though?
crazy.
You know what though? I did that with one show that I used to watch a show called Eureka.
Okay.
The show it's not going to win any awards. It's very campy and the special effects can be very cheesy at times, but I really like the premise of it. And I did not watch the series finale for years because I just like didn't want it to end. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm just not going to watch it. That's fine.
Whoa, there's some stuff to unpack there.
I'm the same way with
Abandonment
books,
issues.
too.
With books?
Yeah, with books. I will, like, never finish reading books or never finish reading a book series because I'm so scared of the story ending because I get so, like, invested in things and I'm like, more, where?
So you have zero idea how Harry Potter ended.
No, I know how
Okay.
Harry Potter ended. That, movies I'm fine with.
Oh, you're watching...
But
You-
I
did you read
never
the
read the
books?
books. Never read the books.
What that hits me
Harry
as, it's like,
Um,
if I never say goodbye to me, you never left. You know, like...
Don't unpack it. We can't unpack this.
if I don't say goodbye, you can never leave me.
Bring it
Oh
in.
God, you guys are making me realize a lot about myself right now. Maybe I do have issues. Well, that's not a maybe. That's a definitely. But,
Okay, so
We'll get
like,
there.
have you finished any out that like where you were like, I'm okay with this. This is a good way to end.
Friends was a show that I actually finished, and I thought that it was very hit or miss in certain aspects for me when Friends ended because I'm like, yay, finally, like Ross and Rachel, this is meant to be, and I'm like, wait, but Rachel, why are you giving up like this amazing opportunity to go to France for a dude who cheated on you?
They were on a break.
It doesn't. It was the day after. You gotta have like.
The day after. Wow, so this is true. This is you guys are having a canonical argument over
Yeah,
Friends
no,
right
no,
now?
no, for sure. No, or let's. Have you? We're contractually obligated to clap every time we say friends. Curtis is in violation of his NDA. Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, no, that's a huge storyline in Friends for a minute, where Ross and Rachel were on a break, and Ross ended up sleeping with somebody, and then Rachel found out, and he was like, "We were on a break." Like that was like the biggest argument, and so it's a meme at this point.
Oh wow, Curtis, ever watched Friends?
Yeah, I watched Friends a little bit. I didn't watch it a lot though. It was one. It wasn't a show that. Like, even now, I understand more of why people appreciate it and like it, but it wasn't a show that really kind of struck me or got me, I guess I should say.
I've never seen one full episode.
It was a lot more of a. This is on.
So
Nothing else is on TV.
I mean, every time I ever watched it, I totally enjoyed it. But it just, I don't know why, I just never went back to the well.
I grew up watching it the same. I grew up watching Seinfeld. Like it was on must see TV Thursday or whatever like that. So, you know, you had Seinfeld, you had Friends, you had Frasier, you had some Cheers. No.
Cheers.
Cheers was Nick at Night.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah. TV Land.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so we went around once.
Wait,
Wait,
Curtis didn't do it.
I
didn't
have
do it
not.
yet. Okay,
which oddly enough, you actually just said mine. Cheers.
Cheers?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that just really shows my age, doesn't it?
Nick at Night.
Nick at Night.
I saw on Nick at Night.
That's
fine.
how I saw Mork and Mindy and Mary Tyler Moore. Cheers is one of those shows that same thing. It was on, so I would watch it, and you know, middle of the day at your grandma's house. You know, you got 3 channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Ted Danson, you know, got to be pretty close. But I thought it was really good because same thing. I mean, I ended up like actually liking the show later on. So kind of same thing, like you know, full circle storytelling.
Yeah.
They literally start off, you know, with him in the bar, and you know, and he's the owner and the barkeep and everything. And you know, and they go through all of the relationships and you know, and everything that happened within it. And oh gosh, what's her name was on there too from Look Who's Talking.
Oh, Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
My girl.
Yeah, when then she shows up and then she gives a whole new vibe and you know, and flavor to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm a big fan of full circle storytelling. So eventually it's that like he's kind of running out of money to keep the bar going.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much for the most part just the core people that kind of keep coming.
Right. Yeah.
But at that point it's not enough, and he closes it. And I literally remember the last closing scene. Oh gosh, it was. Yeah, he literally just like closes the doors and turns out the light. Like the typical thing. But it's
closing
just the
time.
I don't know the words, but just the finality of that. I'm a fan of things ending. I like, and trust me, Nexus, I got a little bit of what you got going on within me. There's tons of things that I don't finish, and in my mind, I'm like. Even my favorite comic book, East to West, I'm like, I don't want to get current because I don't want to live in a world where I can't buy 2 new issues of East to West I haven't read yet, But at the same time, stories that are good and that we appreciate, I love them to end because I feel like that's paying true respect. Like, time is finite. Everything has an end. Show it respect and end it well. And, that resonates with people. People vibe with that.
Yeah.
So cheers for me to start.
All right, so we were around doing one that we like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do one that we don't like.
Yeah.
And talking about showing a show like respect.
Mm-hmm.
This show, oh my god, Scrubs.
Oh man,
Scrubs.
Oh, you hurt.
Wait a minute. It depends on how you count it, though. Like I feel like Scrubs and Community, you could almost make a case for like their extended run. Because, go ahead, explain, because I thought the original ending for Scrubs was decent.
The original ending for Scrubs was great. So, season 8 ends, and it's one of those, at the time it was just standard, but now it's cliche endings where it's like, he's like walking through his, like, all these memories and stuff like that, right? It's all these people that you saw throughout the time, and JD is leaving and he's going to a different hospital. And like you see, all these people that you saw throughout the series and stuff like that, and references or whatever. And then he walks out, and it's like, that's it. Like, it's ended. And then they went and had to go, hey, you know what? Let's make a season 9, and let's have it be to where it's a college, and we're going to have completely new people, except sometimes the old people are going to be in there, and Zach Braff is only going to be in 3 episodes, and he's a teacher.
It doesn't get any worse.
Gosh.
It's just that's why true fans, I'm gonna call everybody out on this, if you think there's a season 9 of Scrubs, you are not a true fan. True fans know there are 8 seasons of Scrubs. Dunzo. Just like there's 7 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Hashtag Alpha Webb. Hashtag Alpha David. Hashtag David's canon.
Yeah. Boom. No, I thought Community. This isn't mine, but Community was kind of the same. It went from being like the funniest show on TV, and then slowly just started devolving when they started losing.
Yeah.
Like what made it good. Donald Glover, I think, was like the first one to go.
I think he was the first one to go, and it was honestly, it was downhill from there, because a huge part of what made that show so good was the Troy and Abed relationship.
It kind of took over the show.
It did.
Yeah.
That was more of a show than anything else.
So then once that was gone, then they extended it to Yahoo, which actually was an improvement from its last actual season on.
That's true.
Which was interesting, but it just didn't have any kind of gratifying ending. But I think the one that actually just had a bad ending was Dexter. I was really invested in that one on Showtime, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he's the serial killer.
HBO. It was Showtime. It was Showtime.
He's the serial killer who kills serial killers.
Yeah.
And then each season, usually would have like a main villain,
right?
Which was written really well, and he's killing people and doing stuff in between to get to that villain.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one they did, they just started doing things like that the character would never do and were so beyond belief, like murder out in public. Like, I think basically Dexter breaks like every rule, gets into a melee and like fucking kills a guy in a parking lot and stuff, and it just starts getting so sloppy and bad. And it just still pisses me off when I think about it. Took such an amazing show and then just threw it away in the last one. To be honest, I'm not even that upset with Game of Thrones yet. Like, Game of Thrones is bad, but if you've been hurt by Dexter, you know that what true pain is.
It's a deep pain.
Nexy.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna throw an anime in here.
Oh, okay. I'm down.
I mostly watch anime. Death Note. I did not like how Death Note ended.
Okay.
you just halfway through the series, it just gets really messed up because there's like really weird unaddressed time skips. The main villain ends up dying and then replaces him with like a younger version, and it's like, excuse me, this is not correct.
No, it's fine because they use the quantum realm.
It's just not good. And the having Light, who is the main character, who ends up actually truly becoming the villain, having him die.
He has a notebook where he can write somebody's name when they die.
Yeah,
that's villainous. Yes.
So, well, I mean, he was doing it for good in the beginning, and then slowly the power transforms him. But
as one does.
Yes. But the way that it ends, where I cannot remember his name, the Kirigami, who is like the death spirit, whatever the hell, he ends up writing Light's name in his death note and being like, the ending scene is just Light on an abandoned staircase with Light actually like the sunset like hitting his face, and then
lighting light.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why I have to rephrase, and then he's just bleeding out, and then that's it. I'm like, this is such a terrible ending because it's so quick and it's so just, it does not flow at all, and I cannot be more upset about it because it's such a good show at first. It has so much potential.
Curtis.
Dang, we're talking about ones that end bad. I was literally like so wrapped up in the fact that we were talking about anime. I'm like, what?
What's an anime that ended bad for you?
An anime that ended bad for me. Ooh, trying to think. Dang. I guess I have the tragedy in my life of like only watching quality anime. Because I can't think of any.
That's a mood. Because mostly, that's why I mostly don't watch a lot of shows, because if it's not good, like most shows that I watch just don't entertain me.
Yeah.
Or most shows that I tried watching don't entertain me, and so that's why I don't stick around to the ending. And so it's like, that's why I don't know good or bad endings, because if it's probably not going to be good if it doesn't hook me in the beginning. So
you don't watch endings because either A, you're too attached,
yes,
or B, you didn't make it far enough in the show.
I just don't care. So, I'll watch like 2 episodes and then never touch it again.
That's so fun. I'm gonna keep my anime one for next time around for a good one. How a good one ends. For a bad ending, I am going to go with. I'm kind of gonna go with Entourage, actually.
Okay.
And it's weird. I guess I don't feel like it had a bad ending necessarily, but I feel like it wasn't a satisfying ending. And truth be told, I think that's why there was a push for the movie more than anything. Originally, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I was like, why are they making a movie? And I was like, oh, maybe because of how popular it got. But then I started to think, I was like, Entourage was known, but I don't think it was really popular. I don't think it had like the craziest ratings. I think it was more so just the fact that like so many celebrities and stuff and athletes would show up on the show. It was kind of like a darling.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what that show was about. And again, that's another one I've never even seen one episode.
Entourage. So the basic premise for anybody who's not familiar with it is there is an actor. He is an up-and-coming actor. His name is Vincent Chase. And basically, I guess I should preface the preface with this. It's actually based off of Mark Wahlberg's life.
Is it?
Oh, interesting.
So he is loosely based, but he is the young and up and coming actor. His brother on the show, which is Johnny Chase, is supposed to be Donnie Wahlberg.
Okay.
Yeah, from New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like even in the show, like his brother's had some success before he does, but he's already getting more popular than his brother was.
Yeah, okay.
So you got that dynamic, and then he's got 2 of his best friends. His best friend is his manager. He's never been a manager in Hollywood before. He's literally like the manager of a Sbarro because they're all from New York. And then their other friend is like Turtle. He's kind of like he's like a hustler type guy, like heart of gold, but like he's the guy who's all about getting the deals done, like finding out how to get here for free, getting Vince like a year's worth of pizzas for showing up at this spot type dude.
Okay.
And then they have their everybody has probably seen the memes or the gifs of Ari, who is played by gosh, how am I forgetting his name right now? Kevin something, I believe. But he's like totally foul-mouthed, insensitive, but like high results agent, and that's kind of like the whole, everything revolves around that. So it's just about their crazy tales. They're always trying to shoot movies, get scripts, ladies, all that, Playboy Mansion, all that stuff. Well, anyway, the show, like the stories that they build within it and the relationships and the character building is what people really gravitate towards, and the music too, because the music on there is incredible. But basically, they eventually get to the end, and it's crazy. Like Vince goes all over the place, from getting strung out on drugs to like turning down, like wanting to do passion projects because he wants to show he's a good actor, but he's really not the best actor. Okay. And just to finally come back to the point where it's like, okay, he's been humbled now. Ari wasn't his agent, and he's just now going to pick him up again and try to get his career going again, just as a favor. And the way that they basically ended is like Ari is going to be like a high-level sports executive now, and he won't be able to do anything for Vince, and Vince really needs him. And it kind of doesn't resolve it. It's just like Vince coming and being like, you don't have to do this for me, but if you did, I really appreciate it. And Ari kind of gets on the, like they're like, hey, you got to make the decision now. The flight's got to go out, that whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of unresolved. Like,
get on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of don't know what ultimately ends up happening with them. But finally, they're talking again, and as friends, they're in a good place. So it wasn't totally satisfying to me after eight seasons.
Pocket Agent says Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven. I said Kevin. Kevin. Thank you, Pocket Asian. You are the man.
Dang, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, going back to good ones. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put in The Office.
Okay.
I think ended well.
I was gonna ask how you thought that one went.
So I think the last couple of seasons of The Office was there were a lot of valleys, and then there were a lot of peaks. Like there were really good parts, and then some really bad parts. But I think overall it ended really well, where it was like Dwight is now the manager of the branch, which, from season 1 has been his like ultimate goal, and being able to do that. And then him and Angela, who we see, kind of develop as this weird, awkward couple throughout. Like they're married. Jim and Pam are moving to Texas because Jim started his own business, when he talks about like reflecting in like the earlier seasons, how he kept saying how he's only gonna be in this job for a couple years, and Michael, who's been there for 15, is like, yeah, that's what I said. And so it's like all this like stuff. So a lot of conclusions, and then being able to see people go off in their own ways. And then also what was really cool, what they did is the whole thing's documentary, a quote unquote documentary. So then in the last episode, you see them all come back together for a PBS panel where people are interviewing them, like it would like what would really happen in real life, which is cool. So it was just a cool way to wrap it up.
I don't think I ever saw that. I think the one thing I do remember, I obviously wasn't as near as big a fan of the show, but we watched it.
Few people are.
Yeah, we watched it. It was one of our things we'd all watched as a family, and it was good. But it was one of those shows where like once Michael Scott left.
Yep.
And we started getting to that first rough patch. Then we were all just kind of like, why are we still watching this one? Like, they lost the good guy. We can stop. And then we watched the finale, and he came back, right?
Yeah, he comes back in the finale.
And there's like a little tearjerker part for him, I think,
yeah.
right?
Well, kind of. It's a perfect tearjerker Michael moment, because he turns the camera, and behind him you see Jim and Pam, and then Dwight and Angela, and they're talking, and they're friends, and like, and he's like, it's like all my kids grew up and married each other. It's what every boss wants.
Yeah, no. So I think that one did end well, and they did the key thing of making sure they brought back that guy. And he came back for the ending.
Yeah, which was really cool. And it was a complete surprise. You know, so
it's always unfortunate because like Community probably could have had like a nice resolution or ending if they would have like planned something that brings back the people that made it great.
Right.
Because once you start losing people and swapping out actors, if they do the wrong ones, it's a death sentence.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned Community too, because even Community references the ending of Scrubs as like, I think it's when what's his name? The main character. Jeff. When Jeff becomes a teacher at the school where he was learning, I think he makes a Zach Braff Scrubs joke reference there. So it's entertaining. Okay, Corey.
So we're talking another good one?
Another good one.
Oh, man, that's tough. Another good one I'd say should be... That one doesn't count. I was going to say Narcos. But, I mean, it was what really happened. So that kind of... I really like when they got that drug dealer dead. You know? He caused a lot of terror. You know?
That was a twist. I didn't even see that coming.
Couldn't believe they got him. I can't even really think of one. Like, I'm kind of in the boat with Nexy where I've been invested. I'll do another bad one just because things piss me off.
Yeah.
Prison Break.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely loved Prison Break, and I thought season 1 probably still to this day stands up as one of the best like single seasons of a television show, and probably could have just ended there. But then they did like, okay, now they broke out of the fucking prison. What do we do with them?
Put them back.
And now they're on the run. So they did like a good half a season or season and a half where they're on the run, and then they end up in another prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, all right, well, okay, I'm sensing a pattern here. And sure enough, they escape that prison only to find themselves in a more...
Okay, hang on. Rewind here. Because you take that template and you put it on one of your favorite shows, The Walking Dead. Oh, they find a safe place, and oh no, it's not safe anymore, and they get out and they're on the run, and then they find another safe place, and then it's not safe anymore.
No, well, see, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying it's still one of my favorite shows. Like, I still will stand by Prison Break, but the ending was terrible. Because, like, now they're back in the same prison. Now, but then the way they ended it, though, is they killed, like, the main character.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
he just had, like, a brain tumor and died, pretty much. And
After
like,
all that.
and everybody gets really sad. Yeah. But then
Dang,
with him,
okay.
though, it was like, oh, Michael Scofield, maybe he faked his own death. And then they revived the show, because sure enough, he did.
Yeah.
So they had that one season, like, only a year or two ago, where they brought back Wentworth Miller and Dominic Parcell, and they did, like, a new season.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get through it. I think I adopted the Nexy way of thinking, to where if I don't watch it, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen, yeah. There
Michael's
you go.
still dead, from the brain tumor.
That's pretty sad when the actual ending of a show is so bad. I'd rather him just have died from
He
a
just
brain
got brain cancer and died. It's over.
Gosh.
Nexy.
So one show that I actually know that I loved, that I really grew up with, was Adventure Time.
Okay.
It recently ended back in September of last year, after like a long hiatus of not doing episodes. And the way that it ended, it kind of it makes you realize a lot of things about the series, because there's so many things that they talk about, like the willow tree that Finn and Jake live in with their treehouse. The willow tree that's featured in a previous episode where it's 1,000 years in the future, and Lemon Hope is walking like by it. You see that the willow tree is up through the clouds, but then in that future episode, during the finale, you realize that the willow tree actually gets destroyed, and it's replanted as Fern, who is the character that's like a grass version of Finn after Finn loses his grass sword, and it becomes like a weird separate being. It's so crazy, but it works so perfectly. Like, I cried so hard when Fern died, because he's like, I just want to see the treehouse one last time, and then he becomes the treehouse.
Wow.
Anyways, it was a really
Who
good
would have
ending
thought
for a
that show? That was the actual ending. That's
yeah,
the ending
so,
ending.
I mean, and Ice King dies. He
shit.
becomes Simon Petrikov, who he was before Ice King. He is no longer Ice King. And then Gunther, the little penguin, puts on the crown, and then he chants some weird words, and then he becomes the original Ice King, who was the creator of the crown.
God damn, this
yeah.
has a better ending than Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, you watch the first few seasons of Adventure Time, and it's about like a 12-year-old boy and his dog. That's the thing. But as the years go by, they recognize how many years they've been doing the show, and Finn grows up with the show. Like, you grow up with these characters, and later on, like, when he starts turning like 15 or 16, he starts having like relationships with girls and like going through breakups and things like that. And then he starts mental health is a huge thing in that show because he goes through like depression and anxiety and stuff, but they don't directly address it. It's just like these are emotions that people feel at this age, and they can, or the audience can really connect and grow with it. So the ending of it was just really perfect to kind of give you a lot of closure. And then Marceline and Princess Bubblegum finally kissed.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know who these people are.
they're like this kind of really weird couple. Well, they have a lot of tension ever since like the first episode that they're in together, because you know they have history and they've addressed it, but they've never said like what that history is. And then they kissed.
Wait,
so they're
Marceline the Vampire Queen and who else?
Princess Bubblegum.
No way!
Yeah,
they were a thing? I never picked up on any of
They got together in
that.
the very last episode. And the
I
reason
I've
they held
seen
it
memes.
off for so long is because Adventure Time premiered in shows that LGBT is illegal. So
Yeah,
they had
that's
to wait
crazy.
until the very last
That's pretty
episode.
powerful to throw
Yeah.
that into an episode when you think about it that way.
Yeah. So
Dang.
it was really good. It was really nice to finish it off like that.
Curtis, you're the good one.
Yo, okay, I said I was gonna come back to anime. This is probably not a very popular one, but it is one of my favorites, and it's one that my daughters and we just like keep rewatching it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is. It's called a Chance Pop Session. I'll give a brief premise. It again, full circle storytelling. It's three different girls, and there is a pop star named Reika. And there is a school, to be a pop star, as we know they have in J-pop and K-pop, kind of communities. So they all separately go. There are some earrings. They are like, whoa, you have the same earring. After a while, they find out. And then eventually they end up, it's like that they're sisters. And they didn't know they got separated at birth.
Okay.
And they all ultimately end up like meeting Reika. And then at first they're all like starstruck. And then after that, they're like, Reika's kind of mean. Like, we don't know if we do want to be like Reika after all. And all the while, like, Reika knew their mom and just wanted to push them so they would like come together and actually be more popular than her. And the way that they end it at the, it's not the last episode, but it's like the episode before the last. They find out they're sisters, they come together, and then on the last one they have like their really big concert, and then it shows like how their new song is like a smash hit and all this stuff. And it gets viral. So it's pretty cool. Now me, coming from a music production background and being a musician and loving it, and then the fact that it was centered around like women, you know what I mean? So it was like dope that it was a different take, like not a male lead, and then it was cool because I can watch it with my daughters,
Right.
And they were like totally into it, and it was profound. I didn't know the whole time. I kind of got a clue, but they did it to where you stayed off their scent just enough, and then at the end you find out, and they kind of bring it all together. So it was really solid writing. Even the kids dug it, and the beats and the music is actually pretty dope on there too. So
nice.
Chance Pop Session, y'all check it out. They did a really good job of how they ended it.
So going back to bad ones, I have one that made me boycott, because I'm one of those people that will rewatch a show.
Okay.
I just rewatch it
Me
constantly.
too. Yeah.
I boycotted this show for like a year after it ended. How I Met Your Mother.
Oh wow, really? That's a pretty popular one.
It was one of those ones to where the ending season was 98% okay, and then you get the last like 2 or 3 episodes, and it's been out long enough, so I'm not concerned about spoiling it for anybody. Basically, so throughout the whole premise of How I Met Your Mother, if you don't know, is it's a guy that's in the future, and he's telling his kids the story of how he met their mother, but he's doing it from like 9 years. It takes like 9 years to meet her, and he goes through all these other people that he dates and all these different life things that happen and stuff like that. He talks about the different friends that he has along the way, and then
Friends.
that's good way to keep it going. And then along with that, one of the friends is Robin, and for the first like half of the first season, you think that they're going to end up together, and then throughout the series, it kind of comes back to that. Anyway, So in the last couple episodes of the show, you finally meet the mom. And, well, actually, you meet her, like, halfway through, and then eventually it gets to her meeting Ted, which is the main character. And then their whole relationship lasts the span of an episode. And it's, like, time jumping, basically, right?
Okay.
And she ends up dying. Like, the last episode, she dies, only for his kids to be like, Dad, it sounds like you really still have feelings for Aunt Robin. You guys should be together. And he ends up with Robin in the end anyway.
That's
Bullshit.
a good ending.
No.
Like, just breaking it down for me like that, not knowing any of the characters, like, that sounds pretty cool.
So, like, I guess, but the thing is like, they built up the mom for so long.
It's called How I Met Your Mother, so
And then,
I would hope so.
But, and then you meet the mom, and the mom's, like, super cool. Like, it's like, the whole thing.
Did you want that to be
I
more?
wanted it to be, like, How I Met Your Mother. Like, that's,
what they've been selling you for the last
And then
two
at the
seasons.
end,
Yeah.
she walks in and it's like, hey guys, is he finally done telling you the story of how we met? Let's go get ice cream. You know what I mean? Like just end it. Instead of having it be like this will they, won't they between him and Robin for, years. And you finally, it's like, no, they're not going to. This is done. She ends up marrying another character, Barney, who then, and they're like really good together. And then for some reason they write it so they get divorced. And it's like, it was the Game of Thrones did.
Oh, okay.
Lots of things that didn't make any sense.
Dang.
Anyway.
Barney and Robin were a power couple right there.
Right?
Like their whole the Barney's bachelor party.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
Karate Kid?
Huh? Yeah.
The Karate, yeah.
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 This is the wrong Karate Kid. No, I've been here the whole time. The clown removes his nose and his wig.
So
It's him.
Barney, for those of you, Barney, when he watches the Karate Kid, he votes for the Cobra Kai guy. He's like, what's the movie called? Karate Kid? Not some kid from Jersey who learns how to fight from an old guy. It's the Karate Kid. So,
Damn.
So,
anyway.
Facts.
All right. So this is 2 negative ones for you in a row.
Hell yeah. I'm all about the negativity today on these TV shows. The other one was Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
I loved Sons of Anarchy. Again, another really good show. Get you hooked up early. And then they start doing kind of the Game of Thrones thing where it's just like trying to show you the harshness of life. Mm-hmm. So all these characters start doing really bad things and things that can't be undone. And to its credit, the show has some crazy, like, big marquee Ned Stark head cut off types of moments that when they happen, it definitely changes the pace of the entire series.
Yeah.
So there was a few pretty shocker deaths, and then basically it all just kind of falls apart to where everybody's bad, everything's fucked up, you don't really care what happens, and then the ending is just, it was kind of like not prophesized, but you kind of knew it was coming based off of some stuff, but I don't know if I should ruin Sons of Anarchy. I don't feel right doing it because it's one of those shows just like in a video game where if you go through it now, not enough people are talking about it. There will be parts that like shock and surprise you, and they're not so big that everybody knows about them. So
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
heavily recommend the show, but just be ready to be sad during the ending. I feel like it's your responsibility as a show, it's entertainment to make you happy. So why would you just try and fucking make everybody sad at the end of your show?
I mean, yeah.
Game of Thrones is probably going to do the same
It
thing.
is. Game of Thrones, we're all just going to be like,
We're
okay,
just
well,
gonna-
that sucks.
Did you hear what they're going to do? How the Benioff and Weiss are going to experience tomorrow's premiere?
No, what are they doing?
They said they're going to lock themselves in a compound, basically their office house or whatever, get super drunk, and not look at Twitter. That's
Probably smart.
That's what they're...
Oh my gosh! So they
They know. They know.
Well, they've seen they probably went into the season like, oh my god, guys, this is the best. This is the best season ever. We're doing so much justice to this show. Great job, everybody. High fives all around. The fans are gonna love it. And then it's been 6 weeks, and they're like, holy shit.
We should maybe not have gotten that high and drunk when we
And
started.
they haven't even seen the end yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Like, regardless, this is history making television.
It
It's
is.
just sad that when when A&E decides to make Remember the 2000 tens or whatever, that this is gonna get like a 5-minute segment of how popular the show was and how they threw it all away.
It's going to be what I have one locked away for a bad one, and it's going to be what that show is. It's going to be the new version of that show.
So watch Sons of Anarchy, but just be ready to be super sad.
So one show that I couldn't even make it through the finale because I just did not like the direction it was going. Parks and Rec. I could not watch the end of that because
it went a weird route in the last season.
Huh?
It went a weird route. Like she's like a full-on state senator.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Again, time
jumps. Yeah.
And it's like, and like Ron hates her or something.
Yeah, they're in a huge fight, and you never know what it is. Like, yeah.
And then Jerry's super. Is it Jerry? Is that his name? Not Jerry. Is it Jerry?
The one that they hated?
The old dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah.
Jerry. So,
God, Jerry!
Yeah, so Jerry is like looking a lot older, and then his wife is exactly the same. Like, his wife has not aged at all in
which
this
is
time
a
skip,
running joke. Yeah.
It's amazing. That's the one thing that I liked about that I thought was funny. But I could not make it through the end because I was just so, like, unsatisfied with the whole vibe of it.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I just couldn't do it. So.
Yeah, I get that.
It was such a good show.
It was a good show.
So good. Because, like, The Office versus Parks and Rec. Like, you always have that.
It was a really good handing of the baton from The Office to Parks and Rec. Like, they overlapped each other, like, by a couple seasons, I think. But it was a good, because it was the same basic premise, and you got down to it.
Basically the same talented people behind the scenes, all friends and stuff.
So, like, it was a good, like, handing of the baton, and then they kept that same kind of style going. Curtis, bad one.
Oh, dang! I had it and I lost it. We started talking about Parks and Rec. I loved Parks and Rec for so long. A bad one that I didn't like the way that it ended. I literally had it and just dropped it.
I got one.
Okay.
I got another one.
Yeah, go for it. Stall me out for a second.
Goddamn Lost.
Oh
my God.
Yeah. That's like as of right now, that's probably the top like bad one, right?
Yeah.
Well, cause
there's one right above it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those shows to where, because I think, what was it, Dallas back in the day? They did the, it was all a dream, when they kind of
right after it was
and like nothing really mattered the whole time. And so then that kind of set the precedent for an extremely terrible ending, to where once a show gets so fucking bananas, you're like, okay, the ending has to be like it's all a dream or something, or maybe they're all dead the whole time. One of those like M. Night Shyamalan, but not even as brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's the only thing left, and that's what they ended up doing. Like, this whole thing was a metaphor. Nothing existed except to be trials and they're all just like in purgatory.
Right. They're all died in the crash.
Yeah, they all died in the immediate crash, and everything that happened was just like some weird purgatory thing, which explains why they were always ending back on the fucking island. And it was Gilligan's Island on meth.
Yeah,
is what it was. Like Gilligan's Island, but at 1,000,000 miles per hour with drugs thrown in.
That sounds pretty terrible. Gosh, I mean, I guess if I have to, okay, there's one that I can throw out. This is another. It's funny. I feel like this show is uncredited as the show that kind of really kicked off the like the wave of like these new hyper realistic TV shows that people like so much, like The Wire and Breaking Bad and all this stuff. It was Oz on HBO.
Okay.
And I just remember, like, now for me, like I also have family in law enforcement.
Yeah.
So my stepdad was he was a CO, and my mother at the time worked at a prison as well. So they would always watch the show, and they would never let me watch it. And eventually, like, I learned that it would come on again 2 hours later. So if I just, stayed up late, I can actually see it. All about prison life and everything. And it's crazy because it was such a gritty show. It would show criminals like coming into the Oswald penitentiary, and it would basically like quickly show the crime that they did that got him in there, and then now how they're assimilating to prison life. Have they been to prison before? Or is this their first time? They don't know the ropes. You see all those different perspectives in there. That, you know, the people that have turned their life around. You know, there's like devout Christians, Catholics, Muslims, and you know, and just all sorts of different personalities. Well, it was so realistic until about the 4th season. It started to get like really supernatural, and then in the last season they tried to pull it back, but they still left too much of the supernatural stuff in there. So I don't know, it was like there was like ghosts and stuff at this point.
Jesus.
There was ghosts in there a few times. This dude was Jesus. It was crazy. There was all sorts of stuff, and I just remember like you guys started off so strong, so like gritty, and I almost felt like this show was real and the people were real because they didn't use big name actors, and now all those actors are doing like farmer like insurance commercials. The dude that's like a hoop, I'm a basketball hoop. Like all those dudes are from Oz. It's crazy. But anyway, like they ended it really, really weird. And the guy who narrates most of the show, I'm gonna give it away. He dies like I think like 2 seasons before it ends, so you lose the narrator too. It was just really weird. They just totally screwed it up. But from that, we got The Wire. If we didn't get Oz, we wouldn't have got The Wire. So it was worth it in the end.
So we got the ending music playing right now, but real quick, I want to end on a high note. So let's do one more good one. Quick explanation. So for me, I'm going to say Chuck.
Okay.
I think it was a good one that ended. And again, going back to what I said about Seinfeld, I'm starting as I'm ending. Symmetry. I really like how the ending scene of the first episode of Chuck is him on the beach with Sarah, and he's freaking out because he has an intersect and his life is changing. And then the ending scene of the last episode is him on the beach with Sarah, and he lost the intersect. He doesn't know what to do when he's not a spy, and she's like, you know, it's gonna be okay. Same thing, just kind of like reversed a little bit, which I thought was really cool. Nice. Corey.
I don't have another good one. I'll pass. They all suck. I think I'm more upset. I wish I could sit here and say Game of Thrones, but I think that no matter what happens or comes out of tomorrow's episode, we're just going to be so bummed out.
I think so.
So I have no other good ones.
Actually,
another anime, Your Lie in April. 12 episodes, made me cry very heavily, and I cannot say the ending because it's just 12 episodes. Go watch it. Dude, it's on Hulu and Netflix. Like, God.
No excuse.
It's so good, and I cried so hard for 3 days.
Chris.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, okay.
And,
all right.
And if you haven't seen it, I'm not even gonna say anything. Most people have, but I'm not even gonna say anything.
It's been years.
Yeah, it has been years, but go watch it again. That show was like I didn't see a bad episode.
It was such a good show.
Incredible show. Actually, I thought of another bad one, but I'm not going to say it.
Stick around for the after show.
Yeah, we'll stick around.
So if you are listening to the podcast and you do not check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/videogame_bang, we live record the episodes on Twitch, and we stick around after this episode for hanging out, chit-chatting, and sometimes we continue the conversation. Check us out there. Find us on anywhere you can find podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Google Play, iTunes. Did I say iTunes twice?
I don't know, but it's important because we're
important.
so close to getting 100 ratings. We average a 5 stars. So if you have an iPhone and you have not rated the show yet, we only need like a couple more of you guys to do that. And then all our Patreon stuff.
Patreon, go check us out. Patreon.com. We are wrapping up this next week. We're wrapping up our Bang of Thrones series where we recap the episode of Game of Thrones. And this one I think is going to be a doozy because it's the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be a special. This will be a special one. We should probably do what we did last time and like wait till we could all be in the room together.
Smart.
And we can play the Reigns of Castamere for our Fallen show.
Smart.
We gotta get ready for Good Day tomorrow too.
Good Day tomorrow. Yes, if you're in the Sacramento area, or even if you're not, you can find it on YouTube. Good Day Sacramento.
Yep. Watch us make fools out of ourselves on television.
What time is it?
We're gonna be in the 8 o'clock hour and the 9 o'clock hour.
Okay, cool. So just like last time. So start watching at 8 o'clock and don't stop watching until 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Nexy, anything to plug when you're going live again?
Oh God, I'm actually streaming tomorrow night.
Boom.
I don't know what I'm streaming.
All right.
But
go check out surprise stream.
Twitch.tv/nexuswashere_. There's an underscore.
Oh, that's right. I was waiting for something after the underscore, and there's nothing after the underscore. It's just it ends like the horrible TV shows that we just talked about.
Exactly, because Nexus was here is not even taken on Twitch. It's just like this isn't another castle or whatever the hell Twitch says, and yet I can't change it. It says username not available, and I'm like, give me my name.
We're going into overtime just for a second here because you sparked one of my favorite shows that did one of those endings where you don't even get an ending.
Yeah.
My Name is Earl.
Okay.
And another one, Last Man on Earth.
No, they did that.
They fall into those categories of shows that like you like and they're super fun, and they go a couple seasons, and then they set things up for the future, and then it's like, oh, by the way, this didn't get picked up again. So I don't get endings for those shows.
Sopranos is the one. Sneak that in, so we're going overtime anyway. Sopranos is the one I was talking about that I think has gone down in history as one of the shows that made people the most angry because it goes, you see them all at dinner and they're coming in, and the way they're shooting it makes it look like something's about to happen, and a couple of his enemies walk in and then it cuts to black, and that's it.
Pocket Asian's right in chat. So the creator made another show called Raising Hope, which was really good, and in the pilot of that you hear a news story on the television in the background where they're like, man from Camden County had a list of good deeds and he completed it. All right, on to the next one. So they kind of like gave it a little bit of an ending.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Curtis, anything to plug?
No, but I'm feeling better, so I'll be streaming again. And I like just to make it easier, because sometimes I don't feel like setting up all my stuff, which really isn't that much. I bought a PlayStation 4 camera, so when we get our thing going, so I don't have to rig up all my gear. I'll just go live on PS4, so we'll have all of our stuff on Twitch.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is our show. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you back here, same bat time, same bat place for the Wednesday show. Catch you guys next time.
Peace.